outrun anybody in the secondary. But again, he's their only person who's capable of those big plays.
Yeah, the only person capable. And, there
Yeah.
was much talk about whether Richardson would get in or not, but you kind of knew Dan Mullen had said, emergency only. Wasn't going to happen. And it looked like to me, and this is just an old guy that football's a change game, but, I know a little something about the game. It looked like to me, and you tell me whether – usually you'll always tell me whether I'm right or wrong. Usually you tell me I'm wrong, and it's the dumbest thing you've ever heard me say. But it looked like as the game went on longer, Emory Jones settled in, realizing nobody's coming off the sideline. It's just me.
Right.
There's nobody. I don't have to worry about anybody coming in and having a better series than me. And I think that showed in the second half when he settled in. And there's a lot to be said for that looking over your shoulder mentality. Is he coming in this series? Is he coming in this series? And I think sometimes it's better not to have that over-the-shoulder mentality. And Emory Jones didn't have that in this game, and he played well.
Well, I think the third quarter saved his job. I think everybody in the stands and everybody watching who's a Florida fan said, all right, if he continues to play like he did in the first half, right, especially that first quarter, he's going to get yanked. And I think Dan Mullen gave him as much rope as he possibly could because he knew if he pulls Emory Jones out of that game, he's playing with Richardson the rest of the way. And there is no fallback after that because if Richardson doesn't do well, now you've got a quarterback disaster, and you're looking at a 5-5, 5-6 type season. So I don't think they wanted any part of that. So they had to give Emory Jones as much of an opportunity as possible.
How much did you see? And I thought it spoke volumes that they go down 21-3 and it looked easy. Alabama marched down the field, made the Gator defense. You were like, well, we knew the defense wasn't that good, and Alabama's really showing it. And then all of a sudden, Todd Grantham's guys decided to get some chutzpah with them, and they get three and outs in a row. The offense comes in and puts some stuff up, and the defense actually looked like they played a little better. Now, was that Alabama taking its foot off the gas, or was that because they were, they thought the game was over, or was the Florida defense did they pick it up and really play good after that horrendous start that was the first quarter?
Well, look at the play calling, and you can see they just decided, all right, well, that worked the first 3 times we had the football. We'll try something else to see if that works too, and then they just got out of rhythm, and you could tell that the next 3 possessions they just couldn't figure it out again, and I think they really lost focus, and it really started. I think that young quarterback, he just missed a couple of throws after that because the timing got off, and I think it really had a lot to do with the play calling, and then they were chasing it, and they're getting in these 2nd and longs and 3rd and longs, and that's just not Alabama football. I thought it was all play calling after they got up, and then they just managed to score, 10 more points?
Yes.
But, I mean, does the defense have a little to do with that? Yes. I think that had a lot more to do with the young quarterback just being out of rhythm. Crowd started getting into it. And again, I think that started that. I think that's what happened.
I think that touchdown when Florida gets it to 21-10 and got the crowd back into the football game rattled the Alabama kid, the quarterback.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or rattled the quarterback from Alabama. I think he was up 21-3.
It's the biggest he's ever played in,
yeah, I
right?
think he was up 21-3 and was coasting, and then all of a sudden it was 21-10. The crowd was back into it, and he was like, oh my God, where am I at?
And they ran out of their scripted plays, and this isn't. This is college, right? He's never played anything like that. So they scripted their first, I think the offensive coordinator for Alabama does the first 15 plays are scripted. And then they ran out of script because they had scored 3 times. And then they just got out of rhythm. And that kid's never played with a crowd like that. When they played Miami, that crowd was dead after the first quarter and never came back to life.
Never came back.
And again, that's he's a sophomore, so he never heard that while he was at Alabama previously with Mac Jones.
So Alabama, though, still holds serve, a hostile environment in an SEC game. So they're still undefeated, ranked number 1 in the country. Now let's turn to another Florida school.
Let's not. I'd rather not.
Well, we have to.
Today?
We have to.
I watched 0.
We have to. We're talking about
you're
talking about UCF.
Okay, yeah, we can talk about UCF.
Well, we will after we talk about Florida State. So Florida State goes into Wake Forest. It was embarrassing, Galen. Is there any other way to say it besides embarrassing?
So there's a real problem with the culture of Florida State, and this is I know this to be true, that it's a hangover from Taggart. I think Taggart brought in a bunch of guys who don't have that dog mentality. He didn't recruit well, and we knew the cupboard was bare, but I don't think anybody knew it was this bare. And the defensive side of the ball, their execution, I'm for it. I think that's on the table, and let's see if the defensive coordinator continues to be the defensive coordinator in another 2 weeks. It was that bad, right? It was quite bad. And you know, it was terrible.
This is second year. This is second year, third year as head coach.
Second.
It's only his second year. Okay.
And so his guys are all freshmen, right? And you have to give a head coach 3 years.
Right.
But
You have to.
But the impact of a bad head coach can be 4 or 5 years. And the way Taggart recruited, look what he's done at USF. He went to USF and people were all excited. I'm like, you can have him.
And he destroyed that program.
Oregon.
He was there a year.
Look what he did to Oregon. I mean, he is he is officially a terrible head coach. And if one more person says, "Oh, it's racist," you can be a bad coach no matter what color you are.
Yeah, ask Charlie Weiss.
Yes, it doesn't matter what color you are. If you're a bad coach, you're a bad coach. And the great thing about sports is no matter what your color, if you're a talented athlete, you're going to get on the court, you're going to get on the field. And if you're a terrible coach, it shows. And this guy, it just shows how bad he is. He's a terrible coach. And we have to figure out if Norvell, who's there now, is going to win enough to be able to keep his job to turn it around.
Well, see, that's my issue.
Got to figure it out.
That's my issue. Right now, they're 0-3. They're 0-3. He's very close to being on the firing line now in year 2.
His defensive coordinator will be fired at the end of the season again. Their offense was just never given much of a chance. So they were chasing it from the first snap. Norvell's got to do some serious recruiting, and he's got to recruit to a situation where the good news is he could say, "Look, you can come in here and you can start."
Florida State now has lost
immediately.
That Florida State has now lost to a bowl championship series. A college championship series, whatever it's called. 1AA is what it used to be called. And they've been blown out by Wake Forest, the perennial bottom feeders of the ACC. This is not a good look for Florida State at all.
No, and their schedule doesn't get easier.
No, it gets harder.
Although I do believe Wake Forest could win the ACC.
Well, that's not saying a whole lot right now.
I don't know if you saw Miami this weekend.
Oh, believe me. Hey,
that's the only good thing is that every other team in the state of Florida is pretty bad too.
By the way, took Michigan State on the money line. They were 6 point. They were 6 plus 6.5. I took them on the money line.
Wow, straight up.
Straight up.
Wow.
Look, Miami almost lost to Appalachian State last week at home. Straight up.
I know.
Michigan State's a little better program than Appalachian State.
I didn't touch that game.
Well,
I didn't touch a single college football game this weekend. I didn't like
That's
it.
the only place I made money this weekend. Hey, we got to take a break.
Oh, there you go.
We come back more with Galen Enoff from Life South right after these short timeout. You're listening to WOCA, The Source.
Hi, this is JP from Penn Flooring here in Ocala. I would like to invite you to come in and visit our spacious showroom where we have solutions for every style and budget. From wall-to-wall carpet to hardwood floors and tiles, we have an unsurpassed selection of flooring. At Penn Flooring, we've provided quality customer service with a family touch for over 25 years. Visit our website at pennflooring.com or come by our showroom, 1201 Southwest 17th Street, just over the bridge. Penn Flooring, quality customer service with a family touch.
Are you or your loved one being released from a hospital and wondering how you'll manage? Inform your physician that you want to go to Palm Garden of Ocala at 2700 Southwest 34th Street for your rehabilitation. Palm Garden provides pain management, post-discharge follow-up, diabetic care, psychosocial support, and so much more. Plus, they even offer outpatient rehab. This award-winning care facility has a team of licensed professionals dedicated to enhancing your independence. Call 352-854-6262 today.
Hi, I'm Dr. Manal Fakori. I know our city is only as great as our most vulnerable citizens, and that's why we must partner with local organizations to fight the rising numbers of homeless people. By shifting to a housing-first approach that centers on getting folks back on their feet and getting them the help they need, we can turn the tide. I believe in taking action and working hard to solve our problems. On September 21st, vote to reduce homelessness. Vote for Dr. Manal Fakori for Mayor of Ocala.
Are you wasting time boxing up packages and going to the post office or the UPS store? Are you tired of not knowing what you'll pay when you get there? Just Ship offers pickup service and flat rate packaging and postage rates, which takes the guesswork out of shipping while saving you time and money. So quit wasting valuable time and money. Call or text Just Ship at 352-234-3840. That's 352-234-3840. Just Shipped.
It's Monday. Not sure how you did it, but you actually survived an entire 2 days without hearing from Tom. Good job to you. And once again, good luck.
Welcome back to Ocala Talks on a Monday. Got a lot of football to talk about, but before we get to any more football, Galen, we have to talk about what is looming tomorrow. The polling booths will open tomorrow morning. They'll close tomorrow evening at 7. For a historical day in our city, as 4 city council seats and the mayor's seat all up for grabs in the election. The mayoral candidate's Ken Gwynn, the incumbent, running against Dr. Manal Fakori. District 1 has Greg Steen running against incumbent, not Greg Steen, Barry Mansfield running against incumbent Brent Molliver. District 3 has Ty Schlichter and Rusty Juergens running against incumbent Jay Musley. District 4 has, let's see if I can get everybody, Barbara Fitos, Lori Gregory, Alex Everett, Kevin Lopez, Curtis Jones, and Kristen, why can't I say Kristen's last name? Kristen Dreyer.
Dreyer?
Yeah, Dreyer. There, that's District 4. And then District 5 has Greg Steen, who seems like he's been running for office for about 20 months, up against former city councilman Jim Hilty. So going to be a very important day tomorrow, Galen. And now your neighborhood is a very important voting block in this election this year.
Well, I will tell you that my son, who lives in Tallahassee, knows all about Manal Fakori. He's like, Dad, every time I turn on my phone, anything I go online, I'm inundated with vote for Fakori in Tallahassee. I was like, wow, really? He goes, oh, yeah. And anybody from Ocala who's not living in Ocala is very familiar with Fakori.
She's showing up on her advertisements are showing up on my Google feeds. They're showing up on my Facebook feeds.
Yeah.
They're showing up on my Instagram feeds. Showing up on my Yahoo. Whoever is in charge of her ad buys, look, from a political standpoint, who's ever in charge of her ad buys, the people you're buying the ads from love you, and you have blanketed everywhere with Manal Fakori as a candidate.
Well, and it's amazing when because I was talking to my son about it.
But where'd all that money come from to pay for all that?
We'll find that out. But he's like, oh, yeah, well, she's pretty conservative. I'm like, okay. And again, they've done a great job of presenting their candidate for what they think Ocala wants. And I'll be honest, from what I'm hearing, I think she's going to win, and it's not going to be close.
Wow.
So
that's Galen Unall, folks. Send all your info, any type of aggravation, send it to Joe at WOCA. He'll forward it to Galen.
Correct. That's correct.
And Joe at WOCA. He'll send it to Galen.
From the voter turnout's going to be one of the highest they've had, maybe ever from the Democratic Party in just a local election without any national or state elections tied to it. So she's done a phenomenal job of getting out the vote, and good for her. That's the whole job, right? We talk about it all the time. You got to get people to vote, and I don't think the other side's done that at all. So it'll be interesting to see how this all plays out tomorrow night. And we could do a live show from there, but Tom's got other things to do.
Well, as you know, I definitely have things that I have to get done, i.e. trivia, because it pays.
Sure.
So,
Get that Just Ship money out there, have them broadcast.
Well, I can't look, even though I'm married to her, I can't get in that coffer. Not allowed in that coffer for some reason. She knows
it's best for everyone involved.
I would spend all the money. That's why.
That's right.
Let's be honest.
For everyone involved.
Hey,
but again, everybody needs to get out and vote. Nothing is certain. Don't let me convince you not to vote, because your vote does matter. I'll be voting tomorrow. My family's already voted, so please get out there and vote. And I really, it's one of those things that if you vote, I'll never discourage you or who you vote for. Just all of our rights are under a tremendous amount of pressure right now, and we need to fight for our rights. And our biggest right we have is to vote.
100%. That's the biggest right we have, is to vote, and it's your civic duty to get out and vote. It's not just something you have that that you should do. It's your civic duty. If you ask me,
absolutely correct.
If you ask me, it is your civic duty to vote.
Correct.
Trying to get the computers to stop messing around with me, Galen. They're messing around with me.
And I will say I'm kind of hoping the fence guy doesn't win election.
All right. So
saying. I mean, he installed my fence. He did a pretty good job of installing my fence. I don't want him in city politics.
All right. Well, there you go, Galen. I'll send all any kind of things you need. Send it to Joe at WOCA. He'll get them to Galen. Hey, Galen.
Lay that out there.
When we come back, it's time to do a prep wrap up. Some pretty good football games. You were at a football game that I should have been at. We'll explain that later. Coming up next, right here on 1370 AM, 96.3 FM. This is WOCA. Every vote matters. The Source.
It's time for Farming Ranch headlines on the.
Broadcasting from the Ocala International Airport, this is WOCA AM, W242CA FM, Ocala, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
It's time for Farming Ranch headlines on the Southeast Agnet. I'm Tyron Spearman reporting.
Refugees trying to get into the United States from Mexico has created a